this is going to be a bit unorthodox, I admit. I just got out of the shower and I couldn't wait. I had to make a video. It's like, this is something that I have to do. I have to keep making videos. And it's just like, I'm not an addictive person, but I will get obsessed with something. So either this is just a hidden addictive thing that I have not discovered yet, or it's just the fact that I just like making videos. So actually, the best time to do a live is is to do when you just got out of the shower, because first of all, showers are very important for hygiene. You moisturize and you know, you are clean. and I tend to like the way that I look when I am moisturized and I am hygienic, so to speak. So on that random note, that's why I'm making a video. So, yes, I've heard people that say, hey, you have to figure out what you're going to make your video about. You need an outline. You need this for your YouTube video. And, well, I say screw it. I say you make the video, you do it, and then you figure it out later. And guess what? A lot of people have, like, criticized me about this. Like, one time I was on TikTok, long lost TikTok that I had nearly a year ago. The account's still there, but I don't have the app anymore. Long story, I'm not gonna get into it. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. But yes, I did that on TikTok, and I sung a song that I had completely improvised. And they said, nice voice, but you can't do songs. And I was like, excuse me. Finally, the guy actually came back and apologized, and he thought, oh, I thought you improvised it. I had, yeah. I do. I improvise a lot of things. I go live, I do videos, I do what's on my mind, and guess what? It just works out just fine. It works out just fine. I don't think Markiplier plans things out. I mean, when he does his gaming, I don't see him as being somebody that, like, structures things out. Not that he is not a structured person. I'm sure he has structure. I'm sure he has a routine. I'm sure he does that. But for the most part, I think a lot of what he does is improvisational, and that's very inspiring to me. So I'm saying that as a positive thing, because I adore Markiplier because he is, like, my hero as far as ADHD content creators, and as far as the ADHD community. I think he is a hero, not just on YouTube, but to the ADHD community, because he is successful and he does really well for himself, and he's an amazing human being. So that's enough said. Enough said, right? So yeah, I have looked at these things where they say how to make YouTube videos, and one of the things that they say is plan things out. And I've tried to in the past to like write things down and look at them, but it's very awkward to write things down and then do a video, and you don't want to sit there while doing a video and then have to pull out a notepad and say, oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to say, and it just feels too restrictive to me. It feels too controlled. So I just want to have the freedom to just be weird and random and be as real as I possibly can be, because when people do things that are scripted, like in a podcast, in a radio program, I mean, it sounds good, but sometimes it sounds very rehearsed. And you can hear in these podcasts and videos when something isn't scripted. It's just something that is on the top of their head. And there's just this beauty to that kind of content that's put out there, because it's not expected. It's not something that they expected to say. They might have thought about it beforehand, but having structure sometimes for a creative mind like me is not something that I want to do. I want to be real. I want to be genuine. I don't want to just say, hey, this is me, and be a robot. You know, that's not what I want to do. I want to be a real human being. And so I'm going to say, for most of these videos, I just do the videos. I don't think about it. I just do them. If you're going to do something, sometimes thinking about it, you tend to overthink. And when I have tried to make my videos more structured and scripted, I find myself being an absolute nervous wreck. It's like somebody has asked me to get up in front of class and recite something. It's just like, it's very nerve-wracking. It's just like, and then you're looking at the script and you're trying to remember what was on the script because maybe you don't have it with you, and it causes anxiety for me. Okay, it just causes anxiety. It adds a little too much pressure on me, thus the anxiety, right? So I just like to keep it real and be a real person. I mean, so many times, and I've seen this many times, where people, they try to be too good, you know, they try to be too structured, and it just ends up sounding kind of robotic. It sounds like, yeah, that they're reading it off of a notepad, and I don't want my videos to be that way. I don't want it to sound like, oh yeah, she rehearsed this, she made this up. And then, of course, there is the point where I'm going to be criticized for not structuring my videos. Well, that's too bad, you know? This is the way I roll. This is my normal. It might not be your normal because your form of normal is different. You're a different person. You've got a different mind. You believe in different things. You see the world in a different way. And you have different experiences than I do. And of course, my way might be kind of very impromptu and chaotic and messy because maybe you're more of a perfectionist. Maybe you're more OCD. Aren't we all, right? We all have some form of OCD. We all have some sort of obsessive compulsive thing where, I don't know if you've ever done this, where you look at a painting or you look at a pattern on a wall and you will stare at it for hours thinking something is wrong there. I wish I could fix it. But you can't because it's part of the pattern on a wall, or it's a picture, and if you touch it, it's going to fall down. So you just sit there and obsess over it. And that is, I can recall being in therapy. I can recall when I was a kid staring at a pattern on the wallpaper and just looking at it and going, that's wrong. It's inconsistent. I want to fix it. So to disassociate from whatever I was, going through at that time, I would just sit and stare at it. I didn't realize that was an autistic thing, disassociation and obsessively looking at things, but that is another part of ADHD as well as autism. ADHD, everybody expects you to be Jim Carrey, and as much as I love Jim Carrey, we're not all like that. We're not all like Jim Carrey. Some of us have this point where we are kind of just staring at random objects and just looking like nobody's home. And the part of ADHD that's so contradicting is it has two personalities, as I've said before. There is a personality in ADHD that wants to get things done, and not only that, but wants to succeed at getting these things done. They want to succeed, and that person will overcompensate because they either don't think that what they're doing is good enough, or they think that someone is going to criticize them, someone's going to say they're going too slowly, or they're not working hard enough. So they overcompensate and they do more than what's needed. And then there's another part of ADHD where it's literally, we don't want to get anything done. We're not motivated. We don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to open the curtains and let the sunlight in. We essentially just want to stay in our cave and watch HBO and not talk to anybody. And hopefully, it's one of those things where you have your headphones on all day. You don't interact with anyone, and that's problematic. It's problematic because those two personalities often fight with one another. And they try to, depending on the mood of the day, one will win and the other one will lose. Now, what's really bizarre is sometimes those two personalities will actually agree with one another, and that's when that can be either a really good thing or it can be a really bad thing, depending on the day. You know, how depressed you are and how that. And a really fun thing about ADHD is there's always going to be depression. That's just the way it is. A lot of people, I've heard people say, "Oh no, I don't have depression. I have ADHD or autism or I'm neurodivergent." Depression is natural. Okay, it's natural. It's a natural thing. I think it really does have a purpose in life. It is there to process certain emotions, and it's kind of there to give us a break from the emotions that we were feeling. Now, unfortunately, because of ADHD and autism is literally where your brain has too many brain cells. There's too much going on at once, and when you have more brain cells, you have more things going on, obviously, in your brain. So you are mentally doing. That's one of the frustrating things is that I will be doing all of these great things. I'll be washing dishes, doing laundry, learning a dance routine and doing all of this. And then, you know, the next moment, somebody will look over and they'll be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Not doing anything." And they just assume that's what I've been doing all day. And I'm like, "No, that's not the thing. I've been busy all day. I've been doing mental gymnastics all day. I've been doing the mental Olympics all day." And let me tell you, just one thought will exhaust me. It's not just like a million thoughts. It's just one thought. It's just like forming one thought is exhausting. So even if I am maybe a complete couch potato, I have done something. It is not in our, I know people with ADHD and autism have been for centuries and probably even longer than that have been labeled as being lazy. Lazy is not in for someone with ADHD, that's not in their vocabulary. There is never a point where, yeah, I'm just going to be lazy today. I don't think that ever pops up in someone's mind. You might say, "I'm going to take it easy today." But normally what happens is you plan on doing that, but you end up doing a million other things. You end up watching YouTube videos at 3 a.m. You end up doing that. And this is another thing with ADHD. This is another thing that I've noticed with ADHD, is that you will do a million things, but then you will forget about them. And I think the reason is because those two personalities don't communicate very well. You know, the easygoing one and the high-strung personality, they don't communicate. So the high-strung personality is going to say, "Yeah, this was really great," and then the the mellow personality is just going to be like, what, when did I do this? So I often, whether it's Facebook or it's YouTube, I'll subscribe to somebody, I'll follow someone, I'll friend somebody, and then I will forget completely about it. It was like, when did I do this? And probably if I went into my history, like with YouTube, you could find that out. But if I looked in my history, it probably would say, "Yeah, you subscribed to so-and-so at this time," and that would make sense. But even then, I don't know if I could determine who I subscribed or who I followed or who I friended, even if it was documented, because it's kind of tricky. So yeah, that's the thing. You will subscribe to 10 different people, friend 10 different people at some random time, and then the next day you'll be like, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you messaging me? Oh well, I don't know if you friended me or I friended you or I followed you or what happened that day, but I have, and I hope I don't regret it." That's kind of my philosophy. I jump into things and I hope it works out. That's me. That's creative me. That sounds really impulsive, but it's not. It's not impulsive. It's just my determination to get things done. I want to get things done, get it done, the sooner the better. Just get it done, do it, and if it's less than perfect, yeah, you can start over, which is very frustrating. I have exploded before if I've had to start over with things. Oh my gosh, yeah. Somebody called me up one time while I was doing a video. I was trying to do a video, record a video. And somebody called me. And because I'm a good person, I usually answer it. And, I don't want to, well, this time, I didn't exactly answer it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I declined the call. I did. I declined the call. I'm not gonna say who it was, but it was somebody I didn't want to talk to at that time. You ever get somebody who wants to call you, but you don't want to talk to them for whatever reason? Yeah. So I declined the call, and I was thinking, to myself, oh, it's gonna make that irritating vibrating noise while the video is going on. It's gonna be really obvious. That means my video has been tainted. So I decided I'm gonna have to start this over. So I deleted that video and I made a new one. But the whole phone call, I was pissed off. I was pissed off. I had I don't know if this is an autism rage or an ADHD rage. It was more a frustration than a rage. A rage would mean like I was actually gonna break something, which I don't normally do. So I was just like, and I was literally like, yeah, it kind of looked like I was, uh, possessed. It kind of was like, I was like, yeah, I was upset. I was upset because it was like, I'm in the middle of a video. This is a really inconvenient time, and I hate you right now. Was kind of the was what I was doing, and I don't usually hate people, just to let you know. I might have felt that I hated that person at the time. Most likely I probably actually I love that person a lot, but I hated the situation. Just to make that clear. That's like hating someone. When I say I hate somebody, well, sometimes it's justifiable because there are people that are just they're not good people, and to hate them is natural. That's one of those things, it's a natural thing to just hate someone, because especially when they hurt you. But what's not normal is to hold on to that hatred and let it consume you and control your life and eventually ruin your relationships and your choices that you make in life. So that's not healthy. And I don't let my anger destroy things is the main thing. I don't let it destroy things. So when I was talking to this person, I was very pleasant. I was like, yeah, and I actually had my camera on at this time. I should have recorded it and showed it to people. That would have been really funny, but yeah, that would have been recording someone without their permission, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, not that I'm terribly worried about that, but yeah, it's important that you don't record people or videotape them without their permission, and I doubt if that person I was talking to, I doubt if they would have said yes. They probably would not have said yes. They probably would have said, no, that's not okay. That's probably what they would have said. So, yeah, no, I get frustrated, and I just want to show that that is part of frustration and anger and hate is just a natural, it's a natural response to certain things. And sometimes it's not so much you hate the person, you hate the situation, is what I'm saying. Me, I'm not angry for very long, because the next day I'm going to tell you I'm probably not going to be angry. I'm going to just be fine. I'm going to be like, oh well, that screwed up that part of my day, but I got the whole rest of the day, right? So I'm hopeful. I'm an optimist. That doesn't mean that I am overly perky about things, but I can look at things and say, well, that happened and now we have to move on. So that's not just mental maturity, that's emotional maturity. That's saying, okay, I'm not going to let my emotions just control my life. And that's really difficult to be autistic and ADHD and be able to do that. That is a skill, that is gift, because I have seen people with ADHD and with autism, or either one. Maybe they have both, I don't know, but I've seen them where they don't have control over their emotions. They don't have control because they don't have mental and emotional maturity. And if you have mental maturity, you probably will have emotional. Not always, but it depends on the person. But I've seen people where they just don't control their emotions, and they let them overcome them, and they will say all of these crazy, crazy things. And it's a very exhausting thing to be around when people don't have control of their emotions. It's very exhausting. So I try to be in control of my emotions as best as I can, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at disguising my emotions. Um, Most of the time, I will have like the Wednesday Addams look, which is like, not much emotion. I'll just be like, yeah. I won't be like the Kubrick stare. I'm not that creepy. I'm not that creepy, okay? But that's what I'll do. And anyway, yeah, this is a video. I don't know what the purpose is, but it's kind of just to tell you I am a real person on the other end of this camera. I'm not some money grabbing, clout seeking YouTuber that's looking for fame, instant fame, quick, some quick bucks. That's just not, one of those things. It's all, money is always cool. It's always, it's a nice commodity to have, but it's not really the secret to happiness. I mean, it can get you things that will make you happy, but to be honest, I think there are things beyond material possessions that are more valuable, like respect, love, people accepting you for who you are, being supported, being loved, having people validate what you're saying. I think that's more important. So really being seen and heard. Those are very valuable things. If I can tell you this because there have been times in my life where I have not been seen and I have not been heard. And, you would give your right arm if you could have had that in the past. And so that is the one reason that I respect people and I'm kind to people, because I know how I was in that situation where I was not seen or heard and I was not given kindness and I was not given love. And I try to empathize with people and realize, even if they are very mean and disrespectful and rude to me, I have to realize maybe they weren't given that, and just to let it go. If someone's rude or disrespectful or mean to me, I just let it go. I don't respond to that. If someone responds in love, I will respond. I'll say thank you very much. But if it's an insult, I'm not going to engage with that. I'm not going to make a video about it. I'm not going to say this person said this to me and I'm so hurt. I'm just going to say, you know what? This is my silence. This is what you're going to get. When you expect a reaction, there is not going to be one. And you're going to have to find a source outside of me. So that is my tactic when it comes to trolls and bullies and people who are trying to harass me or trying to insult me. I don't respond, because that's the best thing. Because discussing with them, even trying to get them to see things your way, they're not going to. They're going to see you as being the enemy. They're going to see you as being evil. They're going to see you as being bad. It's not going to change. And believe me, I've tried to discuss things with these trolls, and it is just a never ending. It's never ending. They don't stop. There's not a point where they're going to say, okay, maybe I should stop. Maybe this person maybe she really is a good person. You're not going to convince them. And if you have to convince somebody that you're a good person, that's not the person you need to be engaging with. You need to be engaging someone that already knows that you're a good person, that already accepted that. You don't need to validate yourself to some stranger on the internet. I know that in this society, we think that we need to, but if they think that you're a bad person and you've shown yourself as being a good person throughout all your videos and lives and comments, then that is their problem. It is no longer yours, and you can just step back and say, you know what, I'm going to let you have a timeout, which means I am going to separate myself from you. I'm going to not respond. I'm not going to engage with you because you're not going to listen to my explanation. You're not going to believe what I'm going to say. And sometimes I've tried to justify myself. I've tried to tell people that, I'm a good person. Why are you like this? And it's just like, that gives them more fuel. It really does, because they think that they are important enough and that you are bothered by what they said, that you're going to keep going. And when you keep going and you engage with these trolls, these Karens, these bullies, they just get a kick out of it. They think it's great. Some of them are emotional vampires. They get a kick out of this negative energy, and they like it. And they know, they have senses about people. This is something, it's known as a dark empath. That means they have empathy, but it is not for the good reason, for good reasons. They don't use that empathy to help people. They use it to destroy people. And sometimes that's what a troll is. They do these things so they can destroy people's self-esteem, discourage them from making videos, from doing whatever they're doing. But I can tell you this, if you're doing the right thing, and you're being a good person, and you're making the effort, and you're being the best person, you're doing your best, okay? You're putting in everything you got, there's going to be, and people don't like what you're doing, you're probably doing the right thing. You probably are. Because if that's just like, if everybody else is saying, hey, you're doing great, and then there's that one person that's like, this sucks, you suck, everything sucks, and I'm like, okay, well, you have a great day, okay? So, yeah, you just have to, like, not react to them, because it's just a never-ending battle, and you need to just realize that has no reflection on who you are. It has to do with the fact that maybe they're not capable of making videos like you. Maybe they're not capable of being a happy individual. So they're trying to bring you down to their level, essentially. They're trying to bring you down into the pits. And if they can do that, then they've won. And engaging with them is part of them winning. That is one of the first steps that they get into winning, and that is when you engage with them. So don't engage with bullies and trolls. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it for you, your stress, your emotions, and just your mental health, because they want to destroy you, and don't give them the power to do that. You give them power to do that, you allow them in your head, it's going to be really difficult to get them out again. And I know what it is. I know how it is to internalize and to hold on to people's words and think, oh yeah, this must be true. No, it's not true. If you're a good person, you're doing good things, their opinions shouldn't matter, okay? The opinions that should really matter are the people that really care about you and love you and respect you. And the people that actually pay your bills. If someone is paying your bills and they're your family member, yeah, definitely. Definitely their opinions should matter. And you trust them and they trust you, yes, exactly. But a stranger? Nah, they don't, you don't need to trust their word. You don't trust them. You don't know them. They're not part of your life. They're not contributing to your way of life. So there's really no connection. There's no reason that you need to get worked up about what some random person, having a random person saying, I don't like you, do you think that really has a lot of weight? Now, if you got to know someone and they got to know you and they figured and they still didn't like you, yeah, that would hurt. But we're talking about if some random person just goes up to you and says, I don't like you. You know, just you're going into Walmart and someone just goes up to you. You've never seen them before in your life. You probably won't see them again. And they're like, you know, they're out of town or whatever, from out of town, and they go up to you and they say, I don't like you. Be like, okay, why why do I care? Why does that matter? It doesn't. So you should treat this negativity in the same way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hold much weight. It can still hurt. Obviously the words can still hurt, but you don't need you don't need to allow them. I mean, you don't want to allow them. You don't need to either. You don't want to allow these people to affect your mood and affect your day and affect how you feel about yourself, because when you do that, you give them a lot of power, even if they are, I mean, we don't know where these people are, and you don't know where they are, and this is a very good tool. If somebody's hurt you, you need to just let it go and realize that the reason they hurt you was not because you're a bad person or because you did something to them. In a lot of cases, you've done nothing wrong, and it's not your fault that there are people that are just negative and hateful, but you just need to keep being you and doing what you do best, and just keep going, and don't let people discourage you and define you. And anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day, and I hope this video was insightful.